Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back here today to my third NBA Q&A. We've done this for 3 weeks in a row, and we're back here today with another one. So I do ask you guys on Twitter for these questions, and I do take those tweets and answer them in this video. So if you want to be featured in next week's Week 4's Q&A, you can follow my Twitter, and then I'll tweet out when you can tweet at me, and that link to that. The link to my Twitter will be in the description, so you can go check that out. We're on the road to 10,000 followers, which is pretty cool. We just hit 8,000. So if you guys can smash a thumbs up on this video, can we maybe hit 1,000 likes for these Q&As, or just for these NBA talk videos in general, and just something kind of straying away from NBA 2K18 or 2K or rebuilds in general. And it's kind of just a breath of fresh air on the channel. So the first question comes from Bryce Sukel. Sorry if I butchered your last name. It says, I've been seeing tweets that Toronto is the front runner to land Kawhi. Do you realistically believe this could happen? I don't know. Yeah, I saw Oddshark came out. I think that was the betting site that had them as the highest, even higher than him remaining as a Spur. His odds of being a Raptor, it was like he was the highest. If he were to change teams, or just what team he was going to start on next year, the Raptors were the highest. And that really caught me off guard. Also, FYI, I don't know what you're going to be seeing in this background. It's probably just going to be NBA highlights. I kind of throw that in so you just don't see my face the whole time. I would probably bore you. But yeah, the Raptors being rumored to get Kawhi. Now, if I had to think about an offer, maybe it would have to be, okay, so they could either go straight up like DeMar DeRozan and OG Anunoby for Kawhi, something like that, like a star and a nice young piece for a star, and that could be something, and that could probably make, that would definitely make the Raptors better. I would rather have Kawhi Leonard than OG and DeRozan. And that might be the best haul the Raptors can get in return. So that's one side of things that could be. Next thing, it could just be an ultimate young trade. So it could be like DeLon Wright, Norman Powell, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Jakob Poeltl, or it could be Poeltl, OG, Pascal, DeLon Wright, and like 2 first-round picks. That's what it could be, and that would be a pretty scary team. But you might have to throw in Ibaka there to make the salary work out, or something like that. You probably would have to throw in Ibaka, so maybe Ibaka, OG, and Poeltl or Siakam plus like 2 first-round picks, even though they didn't even have their past first-round pick, and a nice big 3 of Lowry, DeRozan, Kawhi, and then if you have. Okay, so say they trade Ibaka. Say it's Ibaka, OG, Poeltl, and a first, right? Or something like that, or 2 firsts. Then you could have a Lowry, DeRozan, Leonard, Siakam, Valanciunas starting 5. That's not too bad. And then you would still have Norman Powell off the bench, DeLon Wright off the bench. I don't know off the top of my head who else would come off the bench for that Raptors team. But that's not a bad option. I don't know if they're going to land them, but I wouldn't say it's too far out the window. Angel Rodriguez says, do you think it was a good idea for the Hawks to trade their 3rd pick to the Mavs, knowing that they could have drafted Luka Doncic, knowing he was the best player from overseas this draft? So he's just saying, was it smart for the Hawks to pass on Luka Doncic for the Mavs 5th pick and a future first? Now, I say no. I still don't think what they got is a bad haul, because the Mavericks aren't making the playoffs next year in a loaded West. So that's, I think it's a top 3 or I think it's a top 5 protected pick, and I think there'll be 5 worse teams than the Mavericks next year. I could definitely see the Knicks being worse. I could definitely even see the Suns, definitely the Kings, the Hawks being worse. So I don't think, unless the Mavericks win the lottery, they'll have a top 5 pick. So I think the Hawks will get any pick from 6 to 14 next year, because I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And you do get Trae Young out of this. Now, it all depends on how Young compares to Doncic this year and years going forward. If one's a bust, one's a superstar. If Doncic is the superstar and Young's the bust, yeah, you didn't probably make the right trade unless you can land what you're going to get with that pick here. But say Doncic is really good this year, but Trae Young is also really good, and then you're really bad as a team, and you could have 2 lottery picks next year, plus Trae Young being good, and then John Collins taking the next step. That wouldn't be bad. I think this relies more on Trae Young being good for the Hawks than it is for Doncic being good for the Dallas, because I think obviously Doncic is a more safer player and a safer prospect coming into the draft than Trae Young was, and it all depends on how Young, because I think we all know Doncic, his floor in the NBA is a lot higher than Trae Young's floor. So basically that means Doncic, at his worst he could do in the NBA, will be a lot better of a player than Trae Young's worst. Because Trae Young can turn into a Jimmy Fredette. He could turn just into a shooter, like an undersized shooter, just doesn't shoot well in the NBA. He's not good on defense, not really much of a passer or a playmaker. But I think he will be at least, like, I think his floor, I don't know what it can be off the top of my head, but I could see him being like a point guard style. I don't think of a JJ Redick, but you kind of know what he could be, if as long as he could shoot like at a high efficiency from 3 And just even from the field in general, I don't think it'll be bad. And especially if you can get like the 7th, 8th pick from Dallas next year, and Atlanta itself has a top 5 pick, and you can land maybe RJ Barrett and Bol, that would be nuts. But yeah, I don't think it was a terrible idea. I do think it was a high risk, high reward trade. Basin Doss X, what do you think the Minnesota Timberwolves' future will look like after this upcoming season. So now this kind of ties into the Jimmy Butler 4-year extension that Minnesota offered him and he turned down. So I don't think he likes it in Minnesota. He does have a full year, and a full year changes everything. We all thought Paul George was going to be a Laker, but he re-signed, probably going to be for 7 years after he'll sign his 3-year Supermax in 3 years from now, whatever, or in 4 years from now. And he'll sign like a 4-year, or in 3 years from now, he'll sign a 4-year Supermax. But a lot can change in a year, but Jimmy Butler looks not happy here. And this is obviously Karl-Anthony Towns' team based on his age, his contract right now, and his play style being so good so quickly. This isn't Jimmy Butler's team, even though Jimmy Butler is the better player right now. I think they offered him less money than what they gave Wiggins, which is kind of surprising, even though, because Jimmy Butler is worth a lot more than Andrew Wiggins, but maybe they can't offer him a lot till the offseason, which maybe it can be. But I think Jimmy Butler, as of now, is gone, and I don't think he'll be back, so honestly, if you see that at the deadline and you're struggling, Minnesota, say, like, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen, but, like, Jeff Teague and Wiggins goes down or Towns goes down, you have a major injury, or even Butler goes down, like, for the start of the season, and you're in a hole, and it's a tough Western Conference, you try to trade Jimmy Butler at the deadline to a team that would maybe give up an asset. You maybe call up, maybe Boston would be willing to take him as a rental, and they would give up, I don't know, a team that Jimmy Butler can put them over the edge, because there's not many teams, unless they think they can re-sign him, that would trade for him. Maybe the Lakers would give up a trade for him at the deadline. I don't know, but I don't think it's looking too good as a Timberwolves fan for Jimmy Butler after this year, but I still have faith in Wiggins being a very good NBA player. I mean, he was solid. He's not 30 mil or 28 mil a year solid, but he is a solid player, and Towns, if he could just develop like a solid defensive game, he'd be the best center in the league, I think. But it all depends on their development this year. We'll see how they do. I also like Keita Bates-Diop. I think he'd be a very good player in the NBA. Fourth question here comes from Craig. Do you think the NBA would ever get rid of conferences like the NHL and do a total random realignment to balance the NBA? I don't think so. I don't think they would do that. I think they would still keep Eastern Conference and Western Conference and the Atlantic Pacific, Southeast Division and all those divisions in the league. But what I could see them doing is changing the playoff format, which I don't think they'll ever do though. It's where you have the 16 teams that make the playoffs, 8 from each conference. But yeah, no, actually no, that would ruin conferences if it's just the 16 best. I would be open to the still 8 from the East, 8 from the West making it, and they still do a 1 through 16, not East plays West. I think they could do that. I don't think I ever see them getting rid of conferences. Fifth question here comes from Callum, early NBA award predictions. I'm going to make a whole video before the season starts on my standings predictions and my award, but I could rattle a couple off of my head right now. So MVP, I'm going to give it to Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think it's either going to be him or LeBron, but we'll see. I'm going to say it's Giannis. I'm just going to throw these off my head. I don't think any of these will be right. Rookie of the Year, Kevin Knox. No, I'm kidding. I think Kevin Knox could be in the consideration, but I think it's going to go to DeAndre Ayton. Sixth Man of the Year. This is tough. Kyle Kuzma? Is Kuzma coming off the bench for the Lakers? I'm not sure. I'll just say Kuzma, or maybe, I don't know, like Jeremy Lin. Maybe we will again. I don't know if he's going to come off the bench. He probably will. He'll be in the conversation. Sixth man's really hard to predict because we don't even know the full starting lineups yet for teams. Defensive Player of the Year, I want to say Kawhi. I'm going to say Joel Embiid. I say if Joel Embiid gets a full healthy year, he can get it. So what am I at here? Most improved. Who do I think can break out next year? Now, I would love to say like De'Aaron Fox or Jonathan Isaac or Frank Ntilikina, but I don't think many rookies in their sophomore year can win the award. So who do I think that could break out next year? Screw it. I don't know why, but I'm just going to say Jabari Parker. Also, you guys will be getting a Bulls Jabari Parker rebuild out later. I think tomorrow. It'll come out tomorrow. But yeah, I'll just say Jabari Parker. I don't know. I got to sit down and actually think about this. This is just what I'm doing in July. I'll make a whole video, like I said before, in September or October when I'm going to what I actually think. And what's the last award I'm thinking off the top of my head? We did Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, Most Improved, Rookie, Sixth Man, I guess Coach of the Year. I'm not going to say Luke Walton. I'm not going to say Steve Kerr. I'm going to say Mike Budenholzer. I actually think that the Bucks could be a top 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. I know it's crazy, but with a good coach, and Mike Budenholzer is a damn good coach, I think he could win the award. And I don't know, I think the Bucks can be a top 2 seed in the East. I know that's kind of crazy, but they have a really damn good roster. And I know losing Parker definitely makes them worse. It doesn't make them better, but I think he could win the award. This question comes from Big Boy Ajani. If the Rockets get Melo, do you think they can get to the Western Conference Finals? And what is your Western Conference team rankings in the top 5? Mine is Warriors, Rockets, Lakers, Thunder, and Spurs/Pelicans. So I think the Rockets, with or without Melo, can get to the Western Conference Finals. I think it's going to be very interesting to see who they face in the second round. It all depends on where they end the season, because we know the Warriors are one team, and I think it'll be either between the Rockets or the Rockets or the Lakers. I think LeBron, obviously in that team, they're going to go to the conference finals, I think. Or it's going to be them or the Rockets. So I think Melo really won't make or break it. It's all depending on how they match up against the Lakers. Because I think the Lakers will be the 3 seed. They'll be the 2 seed. Warriors will be the 1 seed, given nobody gets hurt. But, so yeah, I think in the second round, we'll see Rockets, Lakers, and winner that will go up against the Warriors. But if I did do my power rankings in the Western Conference top 5, 1 would be the Warriors, 2 would be the Rockets, 3 would be the Lakers. Same with me. 4, Thunder, I don't want to be that high in the Jazz again. I don't think Portland... You know what? I like the Thunder. I like the Thunder in 5. The Jazz are interesting. Pelicans are also interesting. I don't know about Spurs because I don't know the thing on Kawhi yet. Denver, I don't know about the 5th best team. I'm gonna go the Jazz. Alright, so the Lake Show X, what was the most underrated and most overrated signings this offseason? So, it's kind of hard to perpetrate what that means. Like, does that mean, like, people aren't talking about it enough? Do I think it's just bad and good? So, I would say the most underrated... I'm not going to think this is the most underrated, but I'm going to name 2 off the top of my head. One is, as an Knicks fan, Mario Hezonja. I think that was a really low-key signing. 1 year, $5 million deal. If he's good, he's good. He actually showed really good promise in the second half last season. Best play of his career in a toxic situation in Orlando. I think they fired Frank Vogel, I believe, and they hired Steve Clifford. But yeah, they went through coaches. They went through experiments as a team. I think he's a really good signing for the Knicks. Also, I think Tyreke Evans for 1 year on the Pacers is a pretty good signing. He'll provide scoring probably off the bench. Because, yeah, they got probably Bogdanovic, or I don't think they're going to start McDermott. But, yeah, obviously Oladipo at shooting guard, I think that was a very good one. Most overrated, I don't know what that means. Like, too many people are talking about it, and I don't think it's that good. I would say, I don't know. I don't really know how... I really don't know how... I'm trying to think. Like, one that I didn't really like was the Doug McDermott signing at all. Also, I didn't really like the Kyle Anderson for $9 million a year. I guess those are kind of, I guess I'll say is my most overrated. I'm not going to say, like... Maybe Rondo for $9 million is a little bit overpaid. But, yeah, I guess those first 2, the McDermott one and the Kyle Anderson, I guess, are the most overrated in my eyes. Oh, also, I did not like the Dante Exum signing. They gave him, I think, 3 year, $33 million. I know he shows potential, and I know he shows promise. I see that. I see he could be a freak one day, because he's been hurt. He's, 2 ACL tears? I think he's only 22 now, and he's been in the league for 4 years or something. He's still incredibly young. But you gave this man 3 years, $33 million. Now, what if he's not good? What if this year he's terrible, and we learn he's terrible, and you don't even play him anymore? Then you have 2 years of $22 million on your books when you're a team that probably needs some cap. Oh, also, I did not like the Derek Favors deal. I thought he was overpaid as well. $18 million for Derek Favors? Really? Why didn't you go out and get freaking Julius Randle for $9 million? Or why didn't you try to get Jabari Parker? I mean, you don't need a stud defensive power forward to play next to Gobert. Just get someone that could stretch the floor. I mean, Randall really can't, but I would have definitely tried to go after Jabari Parker if I were them. I did not like the Derek Favors signing at all, or the Exum. I think the Exum was overpaid. I like the idea of bringing them both back. I just think they got way too much money for what they are. Okay, this is a tough question. Connor Finance, rate your top 4 shooting guards excluding Harden, so I'm just going to do my top 5. And I think 1 is obviously Harden. 2... 3 and 4, it gets very tricky. 2, I'm going to say Jimmy Butler. I know that might be controversial, but I'm not going to explain him. You guys can debate him in the comments if you want. 3, DeMar DeRozan. So 1, James Harden. 2, Jimmy Butler. 3, DeMar DeRozan. 4, Klay Thompson. 5, I'm going to say Bradley Beal. Now, I know there's people friendly commenting in the comment section. Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Victor Oladipo. Yes, I think Victor Oladipo can be in the top 5, but not yet. He's had 1 elite shooting guard season. One. The other players in the top 5 have had more than 1. That's why I think they're in the top 5 for me. If Oladipo can have a replicate of what he did last year, this year, yes, I think he'll get in the top 5, but it's 1 year. I'm not basing this off of 1 year of last year. Was he a top 5 shooting guard last year? Sure, yeah, I would say so, but I don't think right now he's an overall top 5 shooting guard. Also McCollum, also with like Mitchell and Booker, I still need more from them, and McCollum is just outside there, so I think, yeah, that's the top 5, and then you have McCollum, Mitchell, Oladipo, Booker right there. This is a fun question. Hunter Frakes X, if last year's NBA draft had a do-over with what we know today, what would the top 6 picks look like? So this is, if you're going to look at this as 2 ways, is this what the teams would do, or just the best 6 players overall of Woody X? So 1, I think it goes to Donovan Mitchell at number 1. Philly takes him at number 1 over Fultz. They get a shooting guard because they know they can play Ben Simmons at a point guard. Imagine they had Ben Simmons, Mitchell, Covington, Sarge, Embiid. It's pretty scary. 2nd pick, the Lakers. See, now I don't think Lonzo's the 2nd best player in this draft. I would say Jason Tatum, but I still think they go Lonzo Ball at pick 2. I think Tatum's better, but I think I'm going to put positional need in this 3. Jason Tatum goes 3 to Boston. Who would pick 4 again? Was it Phoenix? Phoenix, I think they go Lowry Markkanen at pick 4. Pick 5, who had 5? Was it Sacramento or was it Orlando? I think Sacramento had pick 5, and they took De'Aaron Fox. I think they take Dennis Smith Jr. at pick 5, and then pick 6, Orlando would take Josh Jackson. So there's my top 6 for you. So MX, that OMFMG moment you remember from the NBA regards to Mexico. Appreciate the support from Mexico, man. But I would have to say, I don't think it's from the NBA, NCAA. I have 2. I'll say 2. I'll say the NCAA and I'll say the NBA. So 2 from the NCAA. 1 has got to be the Kevin Ware injury. That was, oh my effing god. Next one was the ending of the 2016 National Championship. That broke my heart as a UNC fan. Seeing Marcus Page hit that shot, but then seeing Chris Jenkins hit that shot. Wow. Now, if I had to say the NBA, I want to say Jeremy Lin against the Raptors. That buzzer beater blew my mind. And I would say the Ray Allen Game 6-3 against the Spurs in the finals. Oh, also in that most underrated signings question from before, I think I want to put Mike Budenholzer in that. I honestly think the Bucks could be I think the Bucks could even win the Eastern Conference with a good coach this year. Because you roll up a lineup of, say you got to throw Giannis out there at power forward, right? Giannis at power forward, say whatever the center plays the best between Brook Lopez, Maker, or Henson this year. So that's your center option. Giannis, Middleton, Brogdon Bledsoe, that's solid. That's a really solid team. And with a really good coach in Budenholzer, I'm actually super excited to watch Milwaukee this year. But yeah, the last question comes from GKCX. Do you think it's possible for the Knicks to land Kyrie and Jimmy Butler next year? Now, I'm a realistic Knicks fan. I do get a little happy when I do see these rumors, but I'm not saying any of these are happening. We're not trying to turn into the new Boston or Lakers fans who think they were going to get everybody. But I think it's possible. I don't think it's high. If I had to put a percentage, I would say a 20% chance that they could land both of them. I would say a 40% chance they can land one of them. Maybe a 35% chance. Because say Kevin Knox has a really good rookie year. Say not a Jason Tatum year last year, but like it. Kristaps comes back, plays for a month or 2, and he shows he could be what he was. The Knicks can unload Courtney Lee's contract, maybe unload Hardaway's contract. They'll have hopefully a top 10 pick. I think that's what Frank Ntilikina can maybe improve as a point guard, maybe as a scorer, and keep up his amazing defense he had in his rookie year. I think they do have a good spot. It's New York. I think that would be a good reason for them to come. Mitchell Robinson has a good year. Fizdale players felt great with it. You know, Fizdale is a player guy. Hazonia has a good year, like Mitchell Robinson. I think it's possible. I don't know about both. I'm not going to be delusional, get my hopes up. I think it's possible the Knicks can land a big free agent next year. I don't want to say KD or Clay or Kyrie or Butler. I don't know who, but I think it's possible. Okay, guys, so that's going to wrap up my 3rd weekly Q&A. Hope you guys did enjoy. Sorry if I didn't answer your comments or questions. I think I answered about 12 or 11, and I did get 100 and so I'm sorry, but I appreciate everybody. I went through all of these, and I thought these were the most enticing. So I appreciate everybody that messaged me on Twitter. I appreciate it and keeps asking. I'm sorry just if I didn't answer you. So yeah, just drop a like if you guys do enjoy these type of videos, these NBA talk videos. Like I said, it's kind of refreshing from doing rebuilds. And let me know in the comments if you disagree with me. I know that top 5 shooting guard one people might disagree with me. I know that I probably said some controversial stuff, but I kind of like it like that. It stirs up the comments a little bit. So yeah, that's gonna be for me. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.